I spent my first 25 years with Microsoft, and I learned so much, which triggered the idea that maybe we should give back. So we're going to have a podcast. My name is Mark Souza. I'm the Chief Technology Officer for Microsoft Asia region. Now I'm going to be joined by many guests from different companies, and together we're going to share what we learned. We're going to talk about technology, challenges, and solutions. So please join us. Welcome to the next episode of Tech Talk. Today I'm excited to be talking about generative AI, pretty popular topic, and specifically about getting started. And I can't think of a better guest to have than my friend Kim Krogh Andersen, Group Executive of Technologies at Telstra. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you so much, Mark, and nice to see you again.
Good to see you, my friend. And why don't we start off with a little introduction about yourself?
Thank you, Mark. And as you can all hear, I'm not a typical Aussie. I don't have the Aussie accent yet. So I am Danish by nationality, but by coincidence, I ended up here in Australia back in January 2020. Joining Telstra as the Group Executive for Product and Technology. And Telstra, that is a very big domestic company here in Australia, but we also have an international leg. Here in Australia, we are the biggest telco, that is the incumbent telco that came from a government-owned to be privatized, and now we are a big telco here in Australia. Yeah, myself, this role, Product and Technology, I lead all our products, the product development operation, but also the product P&L, and also all our software and IT, and all our data and AI. So 3 functions under my domain here at Telstra. And we are, of course, really driving technology because we believe it's super important for us to be a digital leader. That's an integrated part of our T25 strategy that we are executing on at the moment.
Excellent. Well, listen, today we're going to talk a little bit about getting started with generative AI, and I can't think of a better person because you've already undertaken the getting started and deployed some great solutions. So let's start with what you've done. All right, you started with specifically content management. I've seen the Ask Telstra app, which is very, very cool. So talk about use cases. Why did you start there, and what's your advice for others who are getting started?
Yeah, it's interesting, Mark, because I was actually inspired when I took as soon as generative AI was announced and we saw it taking up, we took the opportunity to visit Microsoft in the US, but also other tech leaders in Silicon Valley. And one of the things was really to drive it not for the few anymore, but really solve the biggest problem and drive it holistically across the company. So that was also the approach we embarked on. And it's not a new thing to apply AI in Telstra, but the generative AI, of course, was with a lot of interest, and we saw that. So initially we launched Bing Enterprise just to ensure that every employee inside Telstra get access to AI and can start utilizing generative AI in their daily work. And then on top of that, we looked at what is our biggest pain point? What is the biggest strategic areas that we want to get a better outcome and want to be a leader in? And one of them was the fact that we have a lot of products and also legacy products. So our front line employees, no matter if it's in the stores or in the call center, they have more than 2,000 manuals they need to be able to understand, to be able to answer our customers. It's impossible for our employees to have all that knowledge in their head or even get access to it in a manual fashion. So that was a big pain point for us. And that's just a perfect match to generative AI and the ability to work with all these data. So because we have already been on a transformational journey together with Microsoft, by the way, and we have deployed a modern landing zone as a part of our public journey. We introduced ML Factory, and based on ML Factory, behind our own firewalls, because we have the modern landing zone, we could do that in days. And based on that, we created an Ask Telstra, a knowledge management bot for all our employees, so they can ask specific questions, so they can help our customers. And that's, of course, reduced the average handling time. It's also improved the first time right because the answer get better. And then the other thing it's really provide as well is it's also a feedback loop. We need to simplify further to both give the Ask Telstra better quality, and in the end of the day, that quality we now have with Ask Telstra. So our approach, again, based on the inspiration we got from, for instance, Microsoft, was to look at the biggest problems. Another area is scam and fraud. And we use, again, AI to predict fraud and scam because that's one of the biggest problems here in Australia. And then the last part I'll just mention is the software engineering. We are too expensive. It's too difficult for us to get employees. We are too slow. And the GitHub Copilot and our tools in the software engineering is definitely also helping us to increase the outcome, to increase the speed of innovation, and also the quality to your design and also to your architecture.
Excellent. So if I were to summarize that back, I heard that you look for when you went through the use cases, the biggest pain points. All right, and you specifically pointed out the content management, 1,000 pages, access to that. That was fantastic, and also productivity, enhancements as well. But then I love the fact that you picked something where all your employees got to use it, and so everybody's all in at Telstra when it comes to AI. I think that's great advice. That's awesome. So let's get back to productivity. You mentioned the engineer. Are you seeing better developer productivity?
Yeah, no, I think for everyone, it's early days when it's come to that initially. First of all, I think what is different here, because it's moving so fast, most companies, they're used to take decisions based on rationale and business cases. You can use some of that. But in this case, to not get behind, you also need to drive some of your decision based on you believe and conviction that generative AI and AI more broadly will redefine how you do business. And I think here you need to just push it forward and force that outcome to happen. And that's what we're trying to do in some of these areas. We want and we are convicted. We believe this will redefine how we do our business. So therefore, we take the most important areas. We have seen benefits. We have seen benefits in software needs, but I would say the biggest difference so far is actually the speed from when you are a junior engineer to a senior engineer. or so you can help the juniors to get more outcome faster. You can have feedback loop to ensure that our discipline in architecture is increased. So that's actually a quality parameter. But we also start seeing the benefit coming. But I think the next phase is really to be able to monetize that and ensure that you get that outcome, that commercial outcome in productivity. But we are 100% convicted it's there.
Good. You brought something up that a lot of companies are worrying, am I moving too fast? And am I moving too slow? And you seem to be moving pretty fast. What advice do you have for companies that are struggling between, am I moving too fast or am I moving too slow?
Yeah, I think my experience here is that everyone, no matter if you ask Microsoft or you ask a small business here in Sydney or you ask Telstra or you ask everyone, all our customers, because we are also helping our customers with their digitization journey and AI journey. And I think all of them ask that question, because if you're moving too fast, it can be fundamental for your company because you can do mistakes you don't want to do, and that can be existential for the company. If you do moving too slow, you will not be able to compete. So both sides of that coin can really be existential for your company. So therefore, to increase the likelihood of making the balance right, I think there's two fundamental things you need to try to get in place. And one is expertise. The likelihood of making that balance right is definitely increasing if you have the right expertise, because then you're not afraid. Then you're just understanding both the risk, the things you need to take into account, the underlying things you need to have in place, and you also understand how to test on the way and explore without putting the entire business at risk. So I think the expertise is fundamental. And then you need to surround yourself with the right partners.
Anything unique you do around skilling of your own employees in this space?
Yeah. First of all, we have something. We have launched what we call the Telstra AI Academy, and we really started with our executive and our leaders. And when I was on when I'm visiting technology partners, I also bring my peers there. But for the leaders here in Australia, we really try to ensure that it's a holistic approach to AI, and every leader in the company, we have that mantra that they need to make it personal. They need to make it their strategy, and they need to make it their business to apply AI. So again, it's not the few, it's for everyone to think about how AI will redefine how each leader do their part of the business, no matter if it's in product, in network, in HR, in legal, in our business support functions. Everyone need to think about how AI will redefine and how they can apply AI so they make it their business. That's one thing. Then the AI Academy is really to spread across the business and ensure we get credentials in all our chapters when it's come to AI, not only the data and AI chapter, but also the product chapter, the software engineering chapter, etc. So all employees need to lift their AI capabilities. And I think that's also why it's so important to have capabilities in our business, like the Bing Enterprise to test it. Now we're also introducing Microsoft Copilot, 365 Copilot, again, to ensure that everyone starts using AI, and also then afterwards ensure that we have AI by design. I think that's the difference. You're not applying AI to an existing product, but rethink product, process, etc. with AI in mind. So you have AI by design. That's the next step for Telstra to embark on. That is to ensure that you have AI by design. I will say, Mark, it's not new for us. And already our T25 strategy, we knew that AI would be important. So in there, we have an ambition that 100% of our core processes are AI enabled. And we have more than 50% AI enabled today. So we are on that path for us to have 100% in 25. We also had that ambition that everything, more or less 90% of our consumption should be in public cloud, and that's an enabler here.
I think a few people are going to steal that AI Academy. I think that's wonderful. That's awesome. What I heard, this is not just technology. This is culturally. So you built a culture inside Telstra that AI is just part of who we are.
I think we are on our way to make it like that. I think we call it an AI-fueled company. And I think it is really about bringing the entire workforce with us on the journey. And to your point on the use cases, I think that's even easier when you take use cases that impact mass employment forces like the frontline, like the field force, etc. Then you of course get the people more engaged into the AI journey, and I think that's super critical. I think the other thing that is critical is really to start understand AI deeper and build the expertise, so you can again bring that diverse perspective. So we also are even better at bringing all voices into the conversation when it's come to risk and doing the right thing with AI. I think it's important that we, as leaders, really think about AI by design and not as an add-on. And I think that's really the next phase for us. That is to get to that point where we always start with AI by design instead of adding AI afterwards. And I think that goes for all our leaders and everyone in the company to get to that point. We are redefining our culture inside Telstra at the moment, and it's not that there's specific technologies that is part of that, but it is really about having a growth mindset similar to the culture Satya he implemented when he joined Microsoft. I think it's a little bit the same inside Telstra. We want that growth mindset. We want to look beyond and always look for the next, but also be open and listen to partners, work in ecosystems, because if there's one thing that is clear for me with AI, and also to be a leader and have that expertise, no company, no matter how big you are, you can't do it yourself. You need to surround yourself with the best partners in ecosystems. That's a growth mindset where you don't necessarily look at competing everything, but actually build ecosystems that can solve some of these problems.
Right. Well, amazing technical insights. Thank you so much, Kim, for sharing that. Hopefully you'll come back in a few months and share the next set of learnings.
Always a pleasure, Mark, and I would love to come back. It's always good to have a chat with you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.